Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at a spicy Pokemon for the Open Master League. We're going to have Tapu Fini here, which is, an interesting Pokemon. We got this builds sent here from our favorite granny from Singapore. Is he going to have, a team with the Groudon in the lead, as well as the Dialga as a say-swap? I think pretty high elo as well, which is kind of interesting to take a look at. We're going to have here also Ice Beam and also Moonblast on the Tapu Fini, which I find interesting. I wonder if this is actually the move choice that he should have went for. I think that Surf is kind of relevant for this Pokemon. I think Surf and Moonblast is the better one to go for, to be fair. Ice Beam only really helps you against Lugia, and that's basically it, I feel like. I don't think there's anything else where you really need it. I think like Moonblast should be enough damage output for like the normal Dragon Pokemon, but you're going to see the Zacian against you. Let's take a look. They're going to go for another charge move here with their Zacian. They're going to be the close comment, going to knock out your Groudon, and we're going to see now Tapu Fini against the rest of the world. Let's take a look if this is going to work out pretty well. We're going to see the Giratina coming in here. Why do you not go for Ice Beam? Not Ice Beam. Moonblast, you go for Ice Beam. Why do you go for Ice Beam? Moonblast will have done a little bit more damage, but I guess you need two anyways. That's most likely why you go for that one. Still going to be a tough one because I don't think you're going to have a chance. Yeah, they're going to be able to go for another charge move there, but again, not really sure if it really helps to have Ice Beam here. I think Surf would have been a little bit better in general for this Pokemon, but we will find out shortly, I guess. You're going to see a pretty bad lead for you. Mewtwo usually wins the matchup against the Groudon. As you're going to see now the swap out into the Dialga. Very good shield here as the opponent actually runs Focus Blast. Focus Blast is a rare move to see nowadays on Mewtwo. For whatever reason, it's actually the better move to go for, but I feel like a lot of people just have their Mewtwo locked into Shadow Ball, which is of course a legacy move, and they don't really want to get rid of this anymore. That's at least the scenario where I'm in right now, because I actually really would like to get rid of Shadow Ball, but I don't really want to because it's a legacy move on my Shundo Mewtwo. So, yeah. Here we're going to see the Mewtwo coming back in here. They're going to be able to catch a charge move here onto the Groudon, which is going to be the Focus Blast. Should have most likely caught this move instead onto the Tapu Fini, because it would have been resisted, but at the end of the day, I don't think it really matters too much anyway. As you're going to see now, as Zekrom coming in, it's going to be an awkward matchup for you. The opponent is going to have to shield up a charge move here for sure. It's going to be the Iron Head, of course. But one Fusion Bolt most likely going to be able to knock you out here on the Tapu Fini, and you're still going to be able to farm them down, and you can show off the Tapu Fini there just to deal the final blow against the Mewtwo. That's kind of funny, as you can go ahead and go into the next game. You're going to see Zacian in the lead, not fully maxed out here against you, as you're going to see the Precipice Blades coming through here, going to do some decent damage against them, but they're going to shield this move up. So you're going to now, still going to be in a scenario, I think, where you're going to be able to just one-shot them with the one Precipice Blade. As you're going to shield up a close combat, they're going to go for another one here afterwards, as you're going to be able to now go for a definitely high-damaging move. Honestly, what is your elo? Why is the opponent running extra sensory on their Lugia? That is a wild stuff. I actually thought that this would be a little bit higher elo, but I guess extra sensory Lugia is the way to go here. Going to generate energy a little bit faster, I think, but honestly, I actually don't think it generates energy faster, to be fair. I think it's the same, but I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong with that. But yeah, that is kind of wild here. As you're going to see, the Dialga going to have a great time against this Lugia. Honestly, I know this player here itself, so I know that they are a very good player. So I'm kind of confused by the Pokemon that I'm seeing here right now, to be fair. We're going to see the Precipice Blade coming through here from the Groudon, allowing you to get the shield from the opponent. I think you can outspeed them still, and you can, allowing you to knock out the opponent as well here with their Dialga. Going to get wrecked by this one. As you see now, the Zacian coming back in here, you will be able to reach another one, and you're going to be able to win another game here, but again, without the Tapu Fini even really hitting the field here, which is kind of wild. Tapu Fini still is lurking around in the background. Maybe we find some games where it's going to do a little bit more than we see in those games here right now. Mamoswine in the lead here, going to be not really ideal for you. You might want to shield this move up here, and you're going to shield this move up here, which is going to be an Avalanche, which is going to do some pretty decent damage usually. I think it's a decent play. You're going to go straight for the Draco. I'm not really sure about this play, but I guess I should have been sure because it was a very great play here. The opponent is forced to go for an Avalanche. I would let this move go through exactly, as you now can go ahead and go into your Tapu Fini, and you should be able to farm them all the way down. The Water Gun should do enough damage. I think that's just an Avalanche. I'm not sure about this one. Maybe it's high horsepower. It isn't high horsepower. I didn't really count those moves too much there, but we're going to see now the Ice Beam coming through here against the opponent. Do they let this move go through? They do not let this move go through, and you have to go back into your Groudon now. It's going to be a tough matchup for you. You're going to be able to at least hit one Pressure's Blades against the opponent for sure, and you're going to get the shield first here, but I think you're going to definitely get to another one. You can let one move go through. It's going to be the Shadow Ball from the opponent here. You still have to shield this next move up as well, but the next Pressure's Blade is going to do a ton of damage against the opponent. Omnius Wind's coming through here as you're going to be able to go for another charge move here. It's going to put them into the red health already. Is it enough to put them into farm down range though? It doesn't matter. You can still go for one Fire Punch here in order to knock out the opponent. So that's going to be a very good game. Let's take a look at the next game. We're going to see the Togekiss in the lead. Not ideal. You're going to most likely want to swap out here into your... No, you're going to stay in here. I guess you can play it out. It's not as bad either because Charm got nerfed. So like the damage is a little bit less against the Groudon, which is actually kind of visible in this kind of matchup because Fire Punch now is going to be able to pressure the opponent quite a bit. So it's not as bad as a matchup as it was before. Still, you're going to lose in the zero shield scenario for sure. You try to catch a move here, which definitely doesn't work out that much. As we see the Flamethrower coming in, you're going to be able to farm down with a Dialga. You thought, but we're going to see a Fire Fang variant of a Zacian. That's kind of wild. It's not a bad move though. Like Zacian with Fire Fang has a lot of potential in this current meta right now. Fire type coverage is really good in the current meta in general. But here we're going to see now two Iron Heads coming the opponent's way as well as they're going to be able to farm them all the way down. In comes the next opponent's Pokemon, going to be a Primarina with Waterfall. That's kind of wild. So we're going to see Primarina against also the Tapu Fini, which is really funny because it's like something that I played recently in the Open Ultra League, but I wouldn't really expect us to see this in the Open Master League. So yeah, we're going to see now the charge move coming through here, going to be the Moonblast, of course, going to do a ton of damage as they're going to let this move go through, allowing you to farm them all the way down afterwards. Is this a game of the Tapu Fini? No, they can still get to a charge move here, which is going to be the Moonblast, going to knock you out. You're still going to be able to farm them down here though with your Dialga, and you're going to be able to win this game here. So that's very nice. Very good call there to go straight for the Moonblast, allowed you to knock out the opponent basically there. As we see, most likely the no legendary team here, I guess. Most likely something like the Metagross in the back. We will find out shortly. You win the zero shield scenario against an Excadrill with a Dialga, so that's kind of nice. You're going to, of course, get the shield here. You kind of have to go ahead and go into your Groudon. Great play here, as you're going to have to go for a Fire Punch in order to knock out the opponent, as you don't really do too much damage with the Groudon against what's called Dragonite there, of course, but you can swap out into your Fairy type, and you see the Metagross coming in. Pretty sure there's not a lot that you can do here at this point of time, especially as you don't have Surf. Again, Surf I feel like is the way to go. I don't think Ice Beam is really the way to go here. I think you gave up at this point of time anyway, because yeah, like there's not a lot that you can do about this one. If you had Surf, I think you still had at least a little bit of a chance. I don't think you still would have won because the matchup against the Dragonite also going to be a little bit tricky. But yeah, like you see that the Tapu Fini, while it's level 50, it still just only gets to like 3,300 CP there basically, which is not enough to really compete in the Master League right now. Like, it's definitely not really ideal. Let's take a look at the next game. We're going to see a very decent lead for you. Dialga is definitely what you want to see with your Groudon. You're going to be always able to, outspeed them with a Pressure's Blade, but the opponent tried to catch the move here, but you didn't throw your charge move, which is really nice for you, as you can go ahead and go for a charge move now against the opponent here with the Iron Head coming through against the Lugia. You might even want to shield this move up here, as it's going to be an Arrow Blast. You're going to let this move go through. This is like the wild thing anyway. Lugia can actually flip switch against the Dialga, which is just like, honestly, Lugia is so strong in this meta right now. We're going to see the shield coming up, but now you're going to align most likely a Tapu Fini against the opponent. But they can still, you're going to actually go for the Fire Punch here. That's something that I didn't expect to see. Let's take a look if this works out. Nope, it doesn't, because the opponent still gets another charge move here. You're going to shield this move up. It's just going to be a Sky Attack. You try to farm them all the way down. I guess that is a... I wouldn't say solid play, but it is a play. But we're going to see the Dialga swapping in here for whatever reason. I didn't really expect this one. You're going to be able to go for the Pressure's Blade, and you have to go into your Tapu Fini here, going for one Moonblast against the opponent. You're going to let this move go through. That's kind of wild. I wouldn't have done that. But we will see now. Why do you not go for the Moonblast? Like, Moonblast does more damage. It's stab. It is the better move. Like, you at least have to try. Okay, maybe you're still going to go for the Moonblast now. Okay, now you're going to go for the Moonblast. It looked like you would try to go for the Ice Beam first. And we're going to see it's going to do enough damage for you to farm them down. But it comes now the Giratina, again Moonblast. Going to do the most amount of damage here. Stab and double and super effective as well. But it's so close. It was such a close game here again. The opponent just barely reaches the charge move in time. And you won't be able to knock them out with that one. But yeah, that was actually really, really close. Next opponent, very decent lead for you. Gyarados coming in. You should have went into your Tapu Fini most likely against this one, as you're going to be able to resist all the moves on your Tapu Fini against the opponent. While here, Crunch going to do a lot of damage still, but you're still going to have a great matchup here, of course. Like, it's not a bad play to go into your Dialga. You should still be able to realign your Pokemon here, as you're going to be able to farm them all the way down now. Still have some energy left for the opponent, as they're most likely going to come back into their MEWeedle. You have to go for the Draco Meteor, but like, yeah, it doesn't really matter. They're going to let this move go through from the opponent. It's going to be the superpower, and you can go straight into your Groudon. You don't have to wait out. And you're going to see the Dragonite coming in here. Not sure why you do this. I have no idea why you really go for the Precious Blade here, because clearly one Ice Beam would have been enough to knock them out at this point of time. And I would have just waited and just stored the energy, because honestly, where does it really help you? So yeah, don't know. Not really the biggest fan of that play there, at least. Like, you can still throw the energy later. You're going to shield a Draco Meteor from the opponent. Interesting that they have that. But at this point of time, this game is over. Like, I don't really see how the opponent tries to win this game still. Dragon Claw, like, they only have resisted moves. Now you're locked into the opponent's MEWeedle, though, because you went for the charge move prior, which is not really ideal. You're still going to be able to go ahead and go into your Groudon at least, which will allow you to go up for one Fire Punch, I guess. They're going to run Flash Cannon. You can also go for Precious Blade, but yeah, you're going to go for the Fire Punch here. A little bit of a safer play, I guess. Not going to knock out the opponent straight away, but you can let this move go through. Or you can shield this move up as well, I guess. You can farm them all the way down. The opponent going to forfeit here, I think, at this point of time. You can just go for the Fire Punch spam anyway. And this is going to be a very good game there for you, as there is not a lot the opponent can do here. You can still even go for a Precious Blade and knock out the opponent's Dragonite with that one. But again, don't know why I went for the Precious Blade earlier, because one Ice Beam, of course, going to knock out the opponent's Dragonite, so not really necessary in my opinion. We're going to see a Ho in the lead. I'm not sure why you're not swapping out here. Like, honestly, why you're not swapping out? Dialga is definitely a better matchup than your Groudon, and Tapu Fini in the back definitely has a usually pretty decent matchup. Don't know why you didn't go for Surf here, but the Sacred Fire going to do so much damage here against you, and doesn't really put you into a matchup where you're going to like that one. We don't know why you stayed in there, to be fair. The opponent's still going to be able to go for one Brave Bird here, which you're going to shield up, which I guess is fair. But we're going to see now the full farm down. Your shield down, we're going to see the Giratina coming in here right now. And you have to go for one Moonblast here. Maybe even take the charge move and then swap out into your Dialga, hoping that you have something in the back that you can deal. No, you're going to swap out immediately. Gonna get hit by a Shadow Ball here for sure. This is going to do around 50% of your health. We see the Lugia coming in. And this does not really look like the best game. But I feel like if you played it a little bit differently, you might have had a little bit of a better chance there. Still would have been a little bit tricky for the Groudon, though, in hindsight, because they only really had the matchup against the Giratina, where they would have been able to do anything. Like, this is going to be a very tough matchup to still win. I guess here you can have the Ice Beam, which comes in clutch, because you're going to be able to do super effective damage, which you wouldn't have done otherwise, but it's still not really looking too pretty for you here as well, as this Ice Beam is coming through, going to not do enough damage, and they can go for an Aero Blast for sure. They're going to even swap out into the Giratina. Even if you can go for the Moonblast here, this is not going to be enough damage to knock out the opponent's Giratina. You just still miss like this small amount of damage output for the Tapu Fini for having a good Pokemon with that one. So it's not really looking too pretty for this Pokemon, but still, good game there. Going into the final game for today, we're going to see the Groudon against the Dialga. That's going to be an interesting one here, as you're going to see the Lugia coming in. And the Lugia going to go ahead against the Tapu Fini. Not sure if I like this play too much, but let's take a look at this one. We're going to see the Ice Beam coming through. Gonna do not even half of the opponent's health. That's so wild. Super effective move, plus the water gun damage is not enough to put the Lugia into a range where you can two-shot them. It's really, really wild. This might be an Aero Blast. I most likely would shield this move up, and they're going to shield this move up as well. And it is an Aero Blast indeed here, which is going to allow you now to go for another Ice Beam. Very nice counting on your side, as you're going to be able to go ahead and go for the Ice Beam just before the opponent gets to another charge move. Dialga comes in, you can snipe them with one Precious Blades, which is going to be very nice for you as well here, as they're going to shield up this charge move. You're going to have to shield up here as well. And you're still going to be able to keep your Groudon alive for later on. Of course, they're going to go ahead and go back into their Lugia right now. Not going to wait after this charge move comes through. And let's take a look. No, they're going to go into a Giratina for whatever reason. This allows to go for one Pressure's Blade. I have no idea what they tried to do with this play. But we will gladly take this here, as you're going to see now the Fire Punch even hitting the opponent as well. They have a ton of energy. You can waste it even onto the Tapu Fini, what you're going to do here, and you're going to snipe them with one Ice Beam. This is amazing, and this is basically game over, as the Dialga is going to be able to destroy this Lugia here as well. So yeah, that's going to be it for the video. Thanks for letting me showcase this very spicy Pokemon for the Open Master League. Not really ideal, to be fair, just missed a little bit of bulk and also like in general damage output there. Would still go for the Surf over the Ice Beam, even though Ice Beam came in clutched a few times against like those Lugias, but still you have Moonblast and you're going to be able to resist the fast move anyway. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!